As Israel has previously stated before this court, when dealing with the law, facts matter. Truth should matter.
You know, once in a while you hear Israelis say, why are we held to such a high standard? Because it's in the freaking book. The thing we all kind of agreed upon as civilized nations.
Israel is engaged in a war it did not want and did not start.
Apparently this guy's Lebanese,
Mr.
isn't he?
President.
The new president of the ICJ is Lebanese, isn't he? I thought Moroccan. Wait, let me see. No, he's from Lebanon. Or he represents I don't know, hang on. Nawaf Salam. A Lebanese diplomat. 27th president. He's from Harvard. Educated at Harvard. Background. Prominent family in Beirut. His cousin was prime minister. 2014-16. Harvard Law School. Ambassador of Lebanon to the United Nations. Articles on political and constitutional reform, electoral law reform, overcoming sectarianism, bro. Imagine being a Lebanese having to write about overcoming sectarianism. The Sisyphean task, God. Question of citizenship and civil society in the Arab world. Okay. Well, I guess what everyone needs to know is he is he a Maronite? Cousin of streamer LonerBox, that's true. Doesn't actually say if he's Christian or Muslim, does it? Unless they talk about his family. Oh, this guy was a deputy from Beirut to the Ottoman ambassador. Whoa. Christian. Yeah, they're Christian. He's a Christian. Which might make him the most impartial of all because he hates both sides equally. Okay. I'm joking. Obviously, I have no idea what he believes because he is a court guy.
Mr. President, members of the court, it is an honor to appear before you once again on behalf of the State of Israel.
Oh, yeah.
This case, even by its very name, the application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in the Gaza Strip, suggests an inversion of reality.
Ooh.
It has given rise to South Africa's egregious and repeated efforts to bring Israel before this court through the obscene exploitation of the most sacred convention. South Africa presents the court yet again, for the fourth time within the scope of less than 5 months, with a picture that is completely divorced from the facts and circumstances. Israel is engaged in a difficult and tragic armed conflict. South Africa ignores this factual context, which is essential in order to comprehend the situation.
Oh, this is just the screen as it is, right? It's not like... Why is it doing that? Okay.
And also ignores the applicable legal framework of international humanitarian law. It makes a mockery of the heinous charge of genocide. As Israel has previously stated before this court, when dealing with the law, facts matter. Truth should matter. Words must retain their meaning. Calling something a genocide again and again does not make it genocide.
Wow.
Repeating a lie.
Starting with the strongest point. I don't. Oh, God.
Does not make it true. Here in the Peace Palace, it cannot be otherwise. Mr. President, Israel received notification of this hearing on Monday, less than 4 days ago, while it was observing a particularly painful National Remembrance Day. This notification came as a great surprise because the court had already invited Israel to submit its observations on South Africa's request in writing by Wednesday of this week. Israel was preparing its written observations when the court suddenly announced...
I'm actually interested to see if anyone has a... I want to see what even this fairly pro-Israel seeming guy has to say about the tank rolling over the art sign in Gaza. I feel like no one defends this, right? Like, let's see.
Did an IDF Merkava tank run over an art installation at the Rafah border crossing? Yes. Okay, end of video. It's Miller time. Or I guess maybe Michelob Ultra time. It is 2100 and the night does belong to Michelob. Okay, I'm just kidding. Look, there's more to it than that, and some of it may involve the LOAC or Law of Armed Conflict.
Oh,
so first I'm going to show you the video.
Do people call it LOAC? The LOAC? I mean, the funny thing, like, I don't know. Again, I feel like no one defends this, right? Like, surely. But you had people on, and I'm not going to let these guys poison me, okay? But you did have people being like, still don't think it's a genocide? I'm like, bro, it's a fucking, anyway.
Okay, end of video. It's Miller time. Or I guess maybe Michelob Ultra time. It is 2100 and the night does belong to Michelob. Okay, I'm just kidding. Look, there's more to it than that, and some of it may involve the LOAC or Law of Armed Conflict.
True.
So first I'm going to show you the video, and then I'm going to explain how the simple act of running over a sign might actually violate the LOAC. Quick note, if you're watching this on Substack, you're going to hear sound. If you're watching this on YouTube, the video won't have sound. And the reason why sound is important will be made clear in a few minutes. If you want to check out the video with sound, go to ryanmcbeth.substack.com. It's free. Although, if you want to toss me $5 to support my work, I'm not going to say no. If you are a NATO or allied military and you want a copy of this video to use as a training tool, send me an email. I will get you a copy as a download. Here's the video.
I thought there was audio. Like, there's no military advantage anticipated from... It's not like if they went the long way. It just seems like there's nothing going on, and the guy's just right on it. Yeah, okay. Oh, he said there'd be no... is it because of copyright or some shit? Okay.
Okay, this was taken right here. Note the fountain, note the walkway, and this concrete pad is the welcome sign.
Oh my god, he's so good at his job. I can never match this shit. It freaks me the fuck out.
This art installation. Rafah is the only border crossing between Egypt and Gaza. A lot of aid comes through this point. The Palestinian city of Rafah is basically the last stronghold of militant forces. There might be maybe 4 to 5 battalions remaining. So if you take Rafah, you finish the fight. And Israel...
How many in a battalion? 2 to 5,000, 2 to 500. So if Israel says they've dismantled 20 battalions, that obviously doesn't mean you've killed every troop in the battalion. Like, what does it take to dismantle a battalion? Is it just you get rid of all their infrastructure? Is it you kill like 500 of them? Is it you kill like is it 1,000 of them? I'm pretty sure it's not like if you get rid of half a battalion, you get rid of half of their capacity, right? I think the way I understand is that if you get rid of half a battalion, you've actually destroyed like 90% of their capacity, right? Because I feel like there's a whole, like a battalion is, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Like they're like it's like like in Game of Thrones where he's like 5 armies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. And the point is that the fist is more scary than the open hand of 5. Yeah.
5 battalions remaining. So if you take Rafah, finish the fight. And Israel instructed the citizens of Rafah to move southeast to this part of the map right here, or north to some farmland that's west of Khan Yunis. So once enough people leave, Israel's probably going to push into the town from the south and west. Also note, you don't necessarily want to surround the town. If you surround the town, people might fight to the death. You don't necessarily want that. You want squirters to get out of that town and head north because they are of intelligence value.
Did he call them squirters? People who might talk if you capture them? Is that what he's... Okay. Jesus.
They're going to move toward tunnels and safe houses and ammunition caches that are south of Khan Yunis. So it's just...
Okay, he said the squirmers. Okay.
Just another chance to get more intel on where the militants are going because you're watching them do this, or they're using signals intelligence saying, you know, hey, open up the door, I'm outside. Now, the person who posted this video is
Why would you call them that? They can be called stragglers or runners or squeezers, movers, shakers. I don't know anything but fucking squirter. Why? Why?
Itay Blumenthal. He works for Israel's KN11 News. Now, in the post, Mr. Blumenthal said, documentation, the tanks of the 401st Brigade took over the Rafah crossing. Now, here's why this is bad. not just a bad look, but bad. We've all heard of the Geneva Conventions, and that is the minimum standard of human behavior during wartime. The LOAC, or Law of Armed Conflict, overlays the Geneva Convention with rules of proportionality and military necessity. I'll have a link to the LOAC below. And that's kind of why I'm talking about this. Was there a military necessity to run over this art installation? Was the art piece taking direct part in hostilities? Was destroying the art piece a military objective? And that's kind of why I'm talking about this. Was there a military necessity to run over this art installation? Was the art piece taking direct part in hostilities? Was destroying the art piece a major military objective? You know, once in a while you hear Israelis say, why are we held to such a high standard? Well, because it's in the freaking book. The thing we all kind of agreed upon as civilized nations to follow in the event of war. Without rules, you're just a mob of rampaging Vikings, but with tanks and JDAMs.
So that is a JDAM called on.
Missile launch, ping, boom.
And you don't just have to crack the book. Your soldiers have to understand it. And your non-commissioned officers, your sergeants, they have to enforce it. And for a moment, let's just forget about the LOAC. If I were a bad guy and I notice how Israel likes to tear up art installations and monuments like the MV Mavi Marmara monument, that's where I'm putting IEDs, or improvised explosive devices. So if you don't want to listen to the LOAC, listen to me. Iraq was full of improvised explosive devices. They cast them in.
Do you know one of Israel's plans to assassinate Saddam Hussein in the 90s was to booby trap a statue in Iraq? I wish I'd Operation Bramblebush, because there would be these memorial ceremonies, and he would go and stand next to a statue, and they wanted to booby trap. They wanted to booby trap it. It's on the wiki, isn't it? Creating a straw company to sell him a modern television studio from which he could broadcast his speeches and blowing it up as he broadcast. Detonating a booby trap monument as he stood before it at a memorial ceremony. I think I actually downloaded this book because I looked through this. There was also the accident, wasn't it? They called this off because they were doing a dress rehearsal, an anticipated attack of one of their plans, and they ended up killing a bunch of their own guys. They fired 2 missiles at their fellow soldiers that were simulating Saddam and his convoy. 5 killed and 6 wounded. Saddam got away with it. He almost got away with it.
In concrete. They put
this is weeks old. Fuck off then. You know what else is old? The Lord of the Rings. You can still watch it. Jesus.
Bags on the side of the road. It's all fun and games running over art pieces until one blows up in your face, and now you have to tell your driver's mom that he died because you were stupid. Who wants to be the last Israeli soldier to die in this operation? Because this is sure as heck of a way of becoming that guy. Now, the only thing here that would make any sense in running over that sign would be if the vehicle were under fire in combat. If that's the case, all bets are off. Yeah, roll over that sign. If you have to get out of the kill zone, if you have to move to a more advantageous position, yeah, screw that sign. Go.
Wait, how does he describe a kill zone there? What is actually
Who wants to be the last Israeli soldier to die in this operation? Because this is sure as heck of a way of becoming that guy. Now, the only thing here that would make any sense in running over that sign would be if the vehicle were under fire in combat. If that's the case, all bets are off. Yeah, roll over that sign. If you have to get out of the kill zone, if you have to move to a more advantageous position, yeah.
A kill zone is the opposite of a safe zone. Thank you, Shmuel. I can see so clearly now.
Screw that sign. Go. And that's why if you watch this on Substack, this video is a little different. You can actually hear firing in the audio, although I don't know who is doing the firing. But that particular unit might be in active combat or close to active combat. I couldn't show the sound on YouTube because YouTube doesn't like the sound of machine guns sometimes, so watch it on Substack. So the driver in this case might be trying to move, but he also might not be too surgical about where he's going. But I'm telling you, if you do this for fun, it's going to cost you. You know, one of the reasons I do this channel is that I want younger NCOs to learn from me. I did this stuff for...
Wait. Coming back to that Israeli article about kill zones, is it fair to say, I don't know shit about, is it fair to say that a kill zone is called a kill zone because it goes in both directions? It becomes a kill zone because it's a fighting zone, meaning that you're in a kill zone as well. Like, you're fighting an enemy, so they're shooting at you and you're shooting at them. Is that like a kill zone? No? Okay. Yes. Okay.
20 freaking years. So I made this video Creative Commons. Feel free to download it and translate it to whatever language you want and show it to your soldiers. If you're an NCO, you owe it to your soldiers to keep them safe. That doesn't just include bringing them home. It includes making sure that your soldiers return home with honor.
Chat summary. Auto-generated experiment quality may vary. People are discussing the term squirmers. Some people think it's an unfortunate name, while others think it's a technical term. Some people are also discussing the Geneva checklist and war perverts. I'll get more audience members in.
Due to hold an oral hearing instead. In seeking to accommodate the court's decision, Israel immediately reached out to its legal team so as to guarantee that it could properly be represented by counsel. That proved impossible, as Israel's lead counsel is shipborn this week, and other counsel were likewise unable to come to The Hague on such short notice. For this reason, Israel wrote to the court in good faith, asking that the hearing be rescheduled to next week. It explained that the dates fixed by the court significantly impacted Israel's ability to be sufficiently well represented and the fundamental principle of equality of arms. Israel's request was rejected. The date of this hearing remained that which South Africa had expressly requested. The regrettable result is that Israel is not represented today by its chosen team of counsel and advocates. The equality of the parties and the administration of justice have been severely undermined. Out of respect for this court, the same respect that Israel has shown through all these past several months, Israel's
Doesn't go both ways because you can be in a kill zone and not know. Yeah, okay, cool.
agents have nonetheless traveled to appear at this hearing. South Africa's complaint yesterday that Israel has failed to respond to its current request is therefore wholly unfounded. Israel expects that the court will appreciate the predicament that Israel has been placed in. This is all the more so given that South Africa yesterday quite radically changed the terms of its requested provisional measures, which Israel has been given less than 24 hours to respond to.
Uh-oh.
Mr. President, members of the court, bearing all that in mind, allow me to recall 4 basic
Did you
facts
cover the Golan stuff yet? What about Fatastan and Hamastan? Yeah, we did. We did cover that. Yeah.
that South Africa continues to conceal. It is highly regrettable, to say the least, that these basic facts must once again be stated in this great hall. First, Israel is engaged in a war it did not want and did not start. It is under attack and fighting to defend itself and its citizens. Since the horrific onslaught that began on 7 October 2023, which saw thousands of Israeli citizens brutally slaughtered, mutilated, raped, and injured, and 254 women, men, and children taken hostage into Gaza, Hamas and other terrorist organizations in Gaza continue to attack Israel, including by indiscriminate rocket fire into Israeli cities and towns.
Yeah, the bodies of three hostages were found. Was one of them Shani? One of them was her, wasn't it? Because they already found a skull fragment. They found her body, eh? Amit Buskila. They were murdered at the Nova Festival. So they just took their bodies back and just kept them. Which one was she? What, Shani was the one who was taken in the back of that truck. She was in the back of that truck and they were spitting on her corpse in the, you can see. Remember when the critical thinker said she was alive because her mother was coping? Yep. Wouldn't a dead body still be useful as a bargaining chip? Well, when they said we're going to give back 33 hostages, dead or alive, I guess they were keeping the bodies to do... I don't fucking know. I mean, I know families want their bodies back. Like, that was part of even the Hamas deal, was that, like, that they would exchange bodies. LonerBox cheerleading Israel, taking every Israeli statement for reality. Which statement did I just take for reality that was fake? What? Am I cheerleading for Hamas when I think the overall body count from the health ministry is correct, like the 30,000 dead or whatever? Am I cheerleading Hamas when I do that, even though it's them that runs the health ministry that gives the numbers?
They have vowed to try and repeat the atrocities of 7 October many times over. Since the beginning of the hostilities, more than 10,000 rockets have been fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel, with the aim of killing as many Israelis as possible. The last 2 weeks alone saw 278 rockets launched. Damage of an unprecedented scale has been caused to Israeli civilian homes and infrastructure, with entire communities destroyed. Approximately 60,000 residents of towns in southern Israel remain displaced from their homes 7 months on. It may be years before they are able to return to their homes and rebuild their communities. Sirens continue to go off across the country as rockets, missiles, and drones are launched against Israel from several fronts. Rafah, in particular, is a focal point for ongoing terrorist activity. It is a stronghold for Hamas's operatives, with several battalions belonging to the Rafah brigades entrenched in the area. Also present in Rafah is an intricate underground tunnel infrastructure that runs underneath the city and provides ample space for operatives, command and control rooms, and military equipment. Nearly 700 tunnel shafts have been identified in Rafah, from which approximately 50 tunnels cross into Egypt. These tunnels are used by Hamas to supply itself with weapons and ammunition. It could potentially be used to smuggle out of Gaza hostages or Hamas senior operatives. Since the start of the present hostilities, more than 1,400 rockets were fired from Rafah alone.
You know what? I've spoken about this before, but it still fucks with my head that. Remember when people kept saying, "Where's the crazy fucking command and control center underneath Al Shifa? Where is it? Where's the Bond villain fucking bat cave?" Even though all the IDF showed you was this. Remember this fucking video? It's just some tunnels, and then you've got a room with 4 laptops in it, and a flag. They have a flag, and a carpet. And people were like, but the way people spoke about it, it's like people just forgot that video existed. And I think when they say command center, the way people talk about that video is, it sounds like they're describing, it sounds like they're describing this kind of shit, you know? It sounds like they're describing this. And I feel like it's just like the simulacra of a fucking command center. But I'm pretty sure the IDF did actually give us a video of one of the tunnels that they found under Al Shifa. I don't think they found as many as were in that video. But they did do this, didn't they? Is this just mute? Yeah, the shaft and then the little camera going down it. Little crotch shot of the IDF soldier. Love that. A fucking Dota LAN party. Like, they found this stuff, didn't they? The fuck? And I think it goes for quite a while. This tunnel seemed pretty long. The tunnel was done by Israel, so the tunnel that they found here was not done by Israel, you fucking moron. I'm sorry, why are you still holding on to fucking ancient misinformation? Israel never built tunnels under Al Shifa. They built a bunker underneath the hospital, within the hospital, as a kind of like basement storage facility. There was a whole fact check on this, like, and there, not to mention that, the tunnel that Israel references from the 80s is in a different location in the complex. There's a whole like fucking fact check on this as well. I don't know why. That's what they showed us. This is not a storage facility, you fucking moron. Look at it.
Having a LAN party?
Look at it. Also just happens to look like every other Hamas tunnel with the fucking arch and the cabling and everything. You think Israel built this? This is what Israel built for storage space? Just coming out of the dirt? Hang on. Where's this fucking video? Is it really just sticking me onto an advert? No, wait, stop. Come on. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there was an entire fact check on this.
Well, good evening to you, Catalina. In this edition, allegations that the tunnel...
How do we know it's under the hospital? And there's the goalpost. Well, because you just said it was built by Israel, you moron. Now you're trying to move the goalpost to say, how do we even know it was there at all?
It's discovered by Israel military under the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City were in fact built by Israel. Tell us more, truth or fake?
I love this. Truth or fake is really good because they show you the evidence as well.
Review these allegations, as many on social media are saying that the tunnels that the Israel Defense Forces discovered under the Al-Shifa hospital last week, they're saying that these tunnels were actually built by Israel and not Hamas. So let's take a look. Let's take a look from the beginning. On November 21st, the Israel Defense Forces posted these images of this armored door that they opened, located in tunnels underneath the Al-Shifa hospital. Then on November 22nd, the Israel Defense Forces posted this 9-minute long video on X where they broadcast images of what lays behind these armored...
Where's the 3-level tunnel? So you have gone from Israel built the tunnel, that's why they knew where to find it, to how do we even know this tunnel was in Al-Shifa, to why are there only 1 level, not 3? Why? Pick a fucking argument.
Doors.
That was by the way, when the Washington Post said that Israel didn't actually find as much as they said they would find, that's what they referred to. They referred to the animation showing you more tunnels than was actually displayed in the video. That's it.
Actually found sinks, bathrooms, and they...
Not that it didn't exist. Not that Hamas was never using Al-Shifa Hospital. Of course they were. Not that there were no tunnels that were built by Hamas. Of course they were.
Actually also found rooms with beds in them, infrastructure that Israel says proves the operational center that belongs to the Islamist group located under the Al-Shifa hospital. So in the same week, on November 21st, Ehud Barak, a former Israeli prime minister, was interviewed on CNN by Christiana Mampour, where he stated that it's already been known for years that some of these bunkers under the Al-Shifa hospital were built by Israel. These statements largely fueled claims on social media that the tunnels that Israel discovered and broadcast last week were actually built by Israel itself back in the 1980s. The question remains, were these tunnels built by Israel or not?
Ehud Barak seems to say they were, which kind of seems conclusive, but navigate through what you found about these tunnels, Catalina.
Well, Mark, based on facts, we found that these tunnels that the IDF published on X since November 17th are more likely to be Hamas tunnels than those built by Israel. We're actually talking of 2 different tunnels here. We'll explain. We'll start by stating that the existence of Israel-built tunnels is actually nothing new. As mentioned by Ehud Barak, it's known knowledge that Israel refurbished a complex in the Al-Shifa hospital in the 1980s. And even in 2009, Haaretz addressed these Israel-built tunnels, stating that Hamas leaders were actually hiding in the basement of these tunnels since they knew it wasn't a target because of patients on the upper floor. Czech News also investigated this topic where they did this map where you could see the buildings that belong to the Al-Shifa hospital. They explain that the building that we could see here in green is nicknamed the Qatari building since it was financed by Doha and built after Israel's departure of the Gazan enclave in 2005. The tunnels that the IDF discovered last week are actually located under this building complex in green. And here in red, this is the hospital complex that was built by Israel in the 1980s. That is so largely mentioned in the claims, under which there are also tunnels that might be occupied by Hamas or not. However, 2 different tunnels. Mark.
So, how do you tell the difference between a Hamas tunnel and an Israeli tunnel? I mean, clearly Ehud Barak being very clear, the one under Al-Shifa built by Israel. The question was, what was Hamas using them for, but what's the difference between the two types of tunnels? Give us more on that.
Well, Mark, to our knowledge, it's been difficult to obtain the plans for the underground infrastructure that was built by Israel back in the 1980s. However, Ynet, as they say, offer us a rare glimpse into the Israeli architecture design for the hospital in this article that they published from 2014, where they publish this photo of what the cellars look like in the Israeli-built complex under the Al-Shifa hospital complex, which appears to have no relation to those images that were recently published by the IDF. Images that experts do confirm have every characteristic.
Is this actually? I don't remember. Is this the Shifa cellars?
Belonging to Hamas tunnels, including Daphne Richmond-Berg, who was interviewed by Sky News. She actually visited these tunnels.
So the room in the video is the command center or 3 level. No, you've almost I like it, MB, that in your fucking desperate attempt to squirm away from making 3 incorrect arguments in a row, you are just about arrived at my position, just so you know. Because my position was that Israel exaggerated the complexity and the size of the tunnel network that they were going to find in Al-Shifa. They didn't find as much as they said they would find, but they did find something. They found that Hamas had a presence there. They found that Hamas had built tunnels under there. They confirmed that what most of us already knew, that Hamas uses hospitals, including Al-Shifa. They just didn't show that it was as elaborate as they made it out to be. That's it. Not that they envisioned some fucking Bond villain command center Batcave that didn't turn out to be real. They never said it would be a Batcave. You can give commands from 1 laptop. You don't even need fucking 3. But yes, well done. You have somehow walked across a fucking minefield, rocketed 400 feet into the air, and what's left of you has landed at my position. Well done.
Tunnels between Israel and Gaza, and she says that they have that they are consistent with Hamas tunnels. Hence, 2 tunnels that are different.
And now you're just a fucking stump. You're just a torso with 1 arm, using the other one to fucking bounce up and down, going, well, where's the 3-level tunnel, LonerBox? I'm just sitting there like, bro. You could have just listened to me in the first place.
One that belongs to the Israeli part of the Al-Shifa hospital, and the other that belongs to the so-called Qatari-built complex of the hospital, which corresponds to the images that the IDF published last week. Mark.
Indeed. The Israeli-built tunnels were wonders how much they spent on that, how long it took, who was the architect. Hamas perhaps copying the same kind of structure, but it's certainly a fact that the tunnels are there and they were used, it seems, according to the IDF anyway, the Israeli military, for Hamas to launch all their project. Catalina, thank you very much indeed for Truth or Fake. Karis of the Business, thank you very much indeed too. And thanks to you all for watching wherever you are in the world. Stay with us, more to come live from Paris.
They do this stuff all the time, France 24, with the little... I feel like she knows her audience. She knows the kind of autism that she's appealing to with this touchscreen fucking animation
including more than 120 in the last 2 weeks. Approximately 600 launch sites were identified in the Rafah area, many of which hidden within or in close proximity to civilian infrastructure. Information regarding rocket launches from Rafah during the current conflict can be found in tab 1 of your judges folder. Israeli hostages are also being held in Rafah by their captors. In fact, Israeli forces managed to rescue 2 Israeli hostages from Rafah on 11 February 2024.
I remember this story. Didn't they kill like 20 people to do this? Hang on. 11th February hostage rescue operation. I remember that because Noah Samson used this in his ground news advert. He mentioned all the people who died, but even though he was saying, here's what the left said, here's what the center said, here's what the right said, he didn't actually mention at all that it was a hostage rescue operation, which is interesting. But I think they killed a lot of people to save these hostages, maybe more. Hang on. I don't know because they were striking Rafah anyway. So I don't know how many people died in the actual operation, but I'm pretty sure as they were striking, like around the same period, I think like 100 people died. Obviously, they don't tell you how many of them were militants or not, but... And apparently the hostages were in good condition this time. 94 people. Oh no, airstrikes, they were coordinated with the raid. Where's the discrepancy? Hang on. IDF told reporters that the complex rescue operation was conducted after receiving highly sensitive and valuable intelligence involving Shin Bet Police Force's IDF Tank Brigade. They were found on the second floor. They entered a building where the hostages were held in the hands of Hamas terrorists. Hamas militants were stationed in adjacent buildings. Ground forces entered encountered resistance through the operation. Once the hostages were recovered, they were protectively hugged by members of the police special forces. Encouraged escort out under fire from Hamas, taken to a safe place. Rafah, medical attention. Significant loss of life was reported inside Gaza as a result of the IAF providing aerial cover for the ground operation, as they do. This is a very, I noticed from reading the Hamas website that apparently and basically an overwhelming majority of the people who died in the Cast Lead thing that I was reading about, even on the ground, were killed by airstrikes. And it's always like there's a common thread of them complaining about how they were saying that this person stood to fight the IDF head on, but those cowardly Zionists just launched an airstrike and killed him as he was ready to approach the front line and shit like that. That happens like quite a lot. Can I identify the number? A video obtained from CNN, from social media groups, used by local journalists. A young boy hangs lifelessly from the side of the structure as several men try to bring his body down. Yeah, they killed like... Where are they saying they can't verify the numbers because there's a dispute though? Where do they say that? Oh. Red Crescent said 100 people were killed, more than 100 killed. Health Ministry said 94. Neither specified. Militants cannot verify. Oh, it's not even a dispute. It's just like... Okay. Both groups said the figure is likely to rise. Yeah, okay. Why do people laugh at the idea of using special forces? Because Jenks said that what Israel should do is send in special forces to take out Hamas.